Yes, good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to explain what we are going to teach in Oracle Fusion Financials and how we are going to follow. So this is from RTL Technologies and this is our contact number. Every session will be recorded and we are going to share through Google Drive. And we'll give the Fusion Cloud Server access for minimum 6 months for practice. You don't need to install any software. Just you need it to have an internet access, and then you can go for data practice purpose here. And WhatsApp group will be created here. We are going to create a WhatsApp group here, and through WhatsApp group during the practice, if you have any doubts, we will be communicating. I'm also going to be the part of that, and our admin also is a part of this. So any doubts we'll be discussing. So entire communication will be knowing by the organization here. Project discussion, resume preparation, as well as the documentations. This is all we are going to have. That's a part of our syllabus, and interview preparation also will be doing it here. Then we are going to have financials, as I said. Mainly functional, we are going to talk about general ledger, account payables, accounts receivables, cash management, fixed assets, expenses module, and taxes module. Obviously, financials are integrated with some supply chain management module, like purchasing, inventory, order management. Slightly we'll touch those modules because that is completely different. It comes under supply chain management domain. We'll not be touching the entire setups. We'll be talking about procure to pay cycle, order to cash cycle over here. These are functional modules we'll be discussing. And technically, we'll see one example how to do one personalization. We'll talk about data conversions, FBDA, data loading, and security console approvals, FSM, functional setup manager, approvals, BPM, business process management, one simple report, how we can do it, OTB analysis, how do you do the data conversion, one example, let's say supplier conversion or invoice conversion, journal conversion, like that. So when I'm talking about technical, I'll show the overview of that particular concept and one example. But functionally, we will be talking complete implementation, end-to-end implementation, which this course does not require any prerequisites. We are going to treat everybody is a fresher. You just came out of the campus. You don't have any idea about ERP software. You don't have any coding skills. In fact, it's not required for functional consultant. When you are applying as a technical consultant, you need SQL coding, you need PLSQL coding. But for functional, it's not required. Okay, so that's how it's going to be done. First, we'll start with the introduction module, general ledger. We'll be performing all the general ledger module setups. We are going to perform all GL module setups. General ledger module setups we are going to perform. Once we perform the setups, we are supposed to test it. That's why we'll go for transactions. Transactions are for testing purpose. Whatever the things I have specified here, I'm going to explain. I'll upload this file in the YouTube, or you can check this video also, you can find. So once the general ledger module is completed, some of the concepts may be required. Integration with AP and AR, for example, translations. You are supposed to migrate the data from AP module and you are supposed to test it, right? That time we'll be using the topic in the next module, not immediately. After completion of GL module, We'll start with account payables. We'll be doing account payable setups. Then we are going to perform the transactions. After general ledger, we'll start with account payables. Then we'll start with account receivables. Again, setups and transactions. Then cash management module will be talking how to perform the setups and transactions. Fixed assets module, how to perform the setups and transactions. Expense module, setups, transactions. Tax module, setups and transactions. This is all we are going to discuss. These are general structure starting, and procure to pay will be discussing P2P cycle, and technically also, as I said, how to load the data, how we can go for build a BI report. We'll not be discussing the busting and all. It is just overview. What we'll be discussing. As I said very clear, our technical part will have just overview and one example. That's not more than that, because technical course is different. If we move more into technical, again we'll forget about the functional. We will not be perfect in any one of the area. You should be a master in one area, either functional or technical. If you like the coding, go to technical. If you say coding is difficult for me, then go to functional. As of now, I said functional having more positions, technical are a little bit less. After some time, that we discussed in our previous session, what is the reason behind that. But still, then why we are talking about technical is, whenever you go for apply for a job, let's say you are applying for 4 years of experience consultant, they'll ask you, you worked 4 years with the product. Do you have any idea how the report can be developed and how it can be registered? Obviously, that is an expected question, because you are in the product last 4 years in the projects, and you should have at least some explore. You should have some idea about that, right? That's the reason we'll be discussing about this here. Roles and approvals, it's a job of both technical and functional. We'll be discussing that here. How we can go for load this one. So this is going to be our syllabus copy. That's what the syllabus. If you have any doubts in this syllabus, we can discuss. Yes, you can unmute yourself now and ask for the doubts.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Very good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what is the difference between our FICO consultant and this one?
Sorry, which consultant?
FICO consultant.
FICO. FICO is a terminology, financials, that we will use in SAP, I think.
Yeah.
In SAP we call it as FICO. Here we call it as financials. That's the only name is different.
Yeah. Same functional attitude will so going to perform, right?
Exactly. So SAP is a competitor, as I said last classes. So that will be.
Yeah. Okay. Sir.
Okay. So in the last class we have discussed. How to create a implementation user, how to create a transactional user, and what is FSM. These all things we have discussed in the last class. Here it is. Okay. Now we'll go for enterprise structure. Whenever we are implementing financials or supply chain management, any implementation for financials, the first part is a ESC, enterprise structure configurator. Enterprise structure configurator that we will be performing. So what is enterprise structure configurator here? Whenever we are implementing the Fusion applications to any client, first we have to understand the client business. We have to understand the client business. It means what is your enterprise name? Nothing but organization name. How many countries you are running the business? How many companies you have registered legally with the organization? Okay, then how many branches you have? Then which currencies you are using? Any reporting purpose you want to have different currencies? Like that we'll be discussing. For example, client is their heritage client. Heritage is our client, and they have a business in US and India. The client is telling we do the retail business. We have a business in India and US. And in India, we have registered the company in Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, we have registered the company, and also we have registered in Bangalore, and we registered in Chennai. Three places we have registered the companies. And US, California, and Los Angeles. Generally, one country, one company is sufficient. For example, you want to do the business in Singapore. You are already doing the business in India. That's fine. But you want to run the business in Singapore. First, you have to take the office, either for rental or for sale. You have to purchase the building. Then you have to go for apply legally. And you are supposed to explain this is what I want to do the business. And you can go ahead with the permissions and all it is. Government will give the authority. They'll give the license for doing the business. Once you get a license, you can open number of branches. You can go for number of branches within your company. That's what we call it as business units here. So we'll gather these details, and every branch there will be departments. Then we'll ask them different accounts, different business flows. This all very high level we'll be discussing with the client as a functional consultant. It's our responsibility to understand. Generally, this will be done by very senior level, nothing but a solution architect or senior level functional consultant will configure this enterprise structure. But still, we are supposed to do it. In case if they ask you in the interview, have you configured enterprise structure for your client anything? Yes, I did. For one of my client, I was a part of that enterprise structure team establishment. I also involved in the gathering of requirement and configuration of enterprise structure. I discussed with the business users from the client side, and finally prepared a documentation, got approval, and then configured it. That's how we have to go for explain, right? So whenever we are going to excuse me, whenever we are going to configure enterprise structure, first thing what we have to do is we need to configure the enterprise. We need to configure the enterprise, nothing but a name of the company. There will be only one enterprise. We don't find multiple enterprises. There will be only one enterprise. We don't find multiple enterprises. Within the enterprise, there will be divisions. Divisions are optional, not mandatory. That's why I mentioned in the bracket O. O stands for optional. I have specified optional here, not mandatory. Within the division, we are going to have the legislative data groups, LDC. Legislative data groups we are going to have. Nothing but a legislation, country. For every country, there will be one LDC. But this LDC is mainly used by the human capital management HR consultants. Will not be working on that much. Okay, will not be working on this much LDC. So we'll be talking about next lecture. We are going to have the ledger. This is our major part, configuration of ledger. After the ledger, legal entity will be created. So what is legal entity? Legal entity is nothing but a legal organization where client is going to prepare the documents and submit to the government. It's indirectly legal office. It's a company registered office. It's a company, a registered office we are going to have. So for every country, there will be one legal entity, at least one. We can also have multiple. For example, let's say Tata Enterprise is there. They have Tata Motors Company. They have Tata Finance Company. They have Tata Cars Company. They have Tata Consultancy Services, Tata Telecommunications, Tata Mobiles, and Tata Power, like the different companies. These all are legal entities. Finally, what is the enterprise? Tata is the enterprise, right? Like that we can define. Some clients will have only one company. They might not be having multiple. So small companies there. So enterprise is same as well as the legal entity also same. We don't find any difference. We don't find any difference over there. Okay. So here, as I said, excuse me. Legal entity is nothing but a legal organization where the client is doing main business operations over here it is. That's what we call it as a legal entity. Within the legal entity, we are going to have the business units, nothing but a branches. Once we register our company, then we are going to have the different options here it is. Once we register the company, we can have the branches. Different branches over here it is. That's what we call it as a branches. That's what we call it as a branches in our language. In Fusion applications, we call it as business units. We can have either one or multiple. We can have either one or multiple. We will find here it is. Okay. Excuse me. Within the business units, nothing but branches will find departments, jobs, grades, and locations and all. Yes. So here is an entire hierarchy. For Fusion applications, first enterprise will be defined. Within that, we'll define division, and then legislative data group we are going to have. Excuse me, I'm sorry for this. Within the LDC, we are going to legislative data group. Ledgers, it's nothing but currency, calendar, chart of accounts we are going to configure. Legal entities, business units and departments. This inventory, sub-inventory, locations and items. This is also part of within the business unit, but this is all configured by the supply chain management functional consultant. We don't work on this here. We don't work on this. That is a job of our supply chain functional consultant. We will not be working on that here. Okay, so here if we look at enterprise, division, LDC, ledgers, legal entity, business unit. As a finance consultant, up to business unit reference data set, we are going to perform the things here, right? Then if you are from EBS background, in case you are already working in EBS Oracle applications software as a finance consultant, there we used to call it as a multi-org structure. Just a name is changed. In SAP, I think we call it as a company structure. Here in Fusion applications, enterprise structure. In EBS, we call it as a multi-org structure. So all our just names are different and flow almost all you will find same. Okay, so business group is comparison with LDC. Ledgers are common, legal entity is common. Here operating units, here business units, nothing but branches. Then inventory organizations, here also inventory organization, we are going to have it here. Okay, so when it comes for applications here, let me go to application. Just log into the applications here. Excuse me. Whenever we want to configure the enterprise structure, so there are two options for us. There are two options for us. So one is automatic by using ESC, Enterprise Structure Configurator. One is automatic. Another one is manual process. Another one is manual process. By using enterprise structure, ESC, Enterprise Structure Configurator, we can set this. Another one is by using the manual process. But 90% will go with manual only because the requirement is completely different from one client to another client. Then we'll be doing it. But what Oracle says, whenever Oracle sales team goes to client place, when they want to give the demo on the product, so they can say that in our Fusion Applications ERP software, we can configure your enterprise structure in 10 minutes. That's the flexibility which we have in our product. That's how they can go for project the flexibility of the product. But if the client is asking, I want to make some changes, okay, you can go ahead with manual process. That also they'll go ahead. Okay, so this is how we are going to have this options when our applications here. Now we'll see. Yes, please. Now we'll see how to configure the enterprise structure by using the ESC. By using ESC, how we can go for configure the enterprise structure. We'll be doing both the options. We'll see how we can go for configure enterprise structure manually as well as automatic. Now we are going to do that. Establish enterprise structure. Now go to the task. Establish enterprise structures. If we look at here, multiple enterprise structures are created. But when we are working in the project real time, we will be able to do it only one enterprise structure. We'll find only one. We don't find multiple. Oracle will allow only one enterprise structure. If we look at here, we have multiple enterprise structures. But if we look at the status right side, there is only one enterprise structure is loaded. There is only one enterprise structure is loaded. Here it is. Okay, one enterprise structure is loaded here. We don't have multiple. We don't have multiple options here. But still, I'm going to show you how we can go for configure our enterprise structure, but we'll not be able to load. What is the meaning of load? Once we configure the enterprise structure, then if we click the button, system will validate the organizations, whatever we have defined, hierarchies, whatever we have defined, and it's going to upload that information into the base tables. If everything is fine, it's going to upload it to the base tables. That's what uploading the data, uploading our enterprise structure. Uploading our enterprise structure. Mentioning that Tata excuse me, press it. Tata Corporation, we are going to do it. Mention first enterprise details will be specified. Nothing but this enterprise details we are going to mention. What is the short name? This all details should be given by the client. There is nothing we can take a decision dynamically. And we are supposed to get all this data from the client, and we are supposed to go for fill this information here. Okay. So next, primary industry we are going to specify here. Let's say this client is primarily in the manufacturing, headquartered in US, United States. What is the legal name for this enterprise? Tata USA legal entity. Means headquarter, identification number, registration number, legal reporting registration number, legal address, so-and-so address. You can go for specify the PIN code and other information also. Create. Now first we have entered the enterprise information. Then legal information is entered here. We have entered the legal information over here. Okay. And then enterprise configuration requirements. We'll ask our client, is your business is in single country or multiple countries? If you say your client is simple enterprise with a single legal entity operating in single country, then what we can do is complete setup, because you have already configured. Your client is telling, I have only one company. I have only one company. So the details already are given. One country, already I mentioned the country details, and one company details. This is already mentioned. We have already configured here successfully. That's fine. We have already configured successfully here. That's fine. Now we are going to have this complete setup for a single legal entity. Here, complete setup for a single legal entity in a single country. But whenever your client says that, excuse me, multiple countries, multiple legal entities, then we have to go for continue the process. Right now, we are going to say that we have multiple. Click on continue here. Continue with the interview process.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what if having two organizations, sir? In that case, what do we do?
Sorry, which one?
So, in case client having two organizations, in that case, what we will do, sir?
We are going to create here, right? Legal entities. First, enterprise. Enterprise will be only one. Within the enterprise, two legal entities we are going to create. For example,
I mean two enterprises, sir.
Two enterprises, I don't think so. Oracle will not allow. Generally, enterprise will be only one. Within the enterprise, there will be a companies. See, you are doing, let's say, two businesses. You are going to give the insurance. Okay. And ABC Insurance Company. Another one is ABC Retail Company. Two companies, right? So what is the enterprise here? You have client has to tell the name, ABC Corporation. That is the enterprise, top level. Within that, two companies. So enterprise is not a company. Enterprise we can treat as a headquarters. headquarters of your company. That's what we can treat. Within that, we are going to define the legal entities, nothing but a companies. So ABC Insurance Company is one legal entity, and ABC Retail Industries is another company. That's what we are going to do in the next level, legal entities.
Sir, I have one more doubt, sir, here.
Yes.
Sir, if there are two organizations in different countries, so in that case, do we need to create two different legal entities, sir? If the
Yes.
organization different.
Yes, legal entities we have to define. Let's say you have your client is doing business in India, Singapore, and Malaysia. In India, their business is telecom. In Singapore, their business is IT solutions, IT services. In Malaysia, their business is retail. So business is different. And your enterprise might be have only one. Enterprise means top level name of the company. But within that, three different legal entities, nothing but three different companies. Singapore, one company needs to be established. Malaysia, one company needs to be established. Without registration of company in that country, we cannot run the business, right? So three legal entities are required. Within the same company also, we can have multiple legal entities. As I said, different domain. So definitely we will go for, we will go for different companies. Here it is.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, legal entity means this is a registration for legal
Company.
documents.
Well,
yeah.
Simply in our language, if we talk, it's a company, registered office.
Okay.
Yes, legal entity means company, simple. Then why the enterprise has given by the Oracle, and why don't they go for directly legal entities? The simple answer is Oracle says that this fusion applications ERP can be used by small clients, medium clients, and large clients. For example, Reliance is there, a big client. Okay, Reliance Enterprise, that is the top level company, headquarters. That is a ultimate holding company. Within that, sister companies are there. They have 10 companies within that. So 10 legal entities. So top is the enterprise, within that legal entities. Let's say SQL Industries is there, which is established in Chennai. Their business is transportation business, logistics, transportation, supply chain. They don't have any enterprise. They don't have multiple companies. So SQL Industries is the enterprise. SQL Industries is a legal entity. Both are same. Then we have to define one enterprise and one legal entity. Okay. Next, after completion of the enterprise, divisions, as I said, it's not mandatory. It's Oracle has provided this layer. Maybe it is used for future purpose after some time. At this point of time, we don't have much functionality about divisions in the product, but still we'll see how we can create divisions here.
So what is the difference between a legal entity and division?
Division is just for reporting purpose. Oracle has given. Division is nowhere covered. In fact, I involved in 6 implementations end to end so far as an consultant. But I could not see the divisions anytime we have created and used in the product because you can create like this, but there is nowhere you can go for use it.
Okay.
Oracle has given this option maybe after some time. Going forward, they want to have some more layers, that time it will be used, but not now.
Okay.
So this is division. After that, now we are going for legal entities. If we look at our enterprise structure here, we define enterprise first. Then we have defined divisions here. LDC and ledger, we cannot do it in the enterprise structure configurator. It won't allow. Manually, we have to perform. We'll be discussing that in our next classes. All this will be doing one by one manually. Actually, that is the procedure when we are working in the real time. But this is also, we should know it. In the interviews, they'll ask you, what is ESC, enterprise structure configurator? What is the flow of that? Manually also will follow the same flow. This is now legal entity we are going to configure here. After division, then we are going for legal entity. Already one legal entity is created. Now we are trying to create 2 more legal entities here. If we want to go for generate the legal entities automatically, we can do it based on the country. In India, one legal entity. In US, one legal entity. I would like to go for different. So one is Tata India. Another one is Tata US. 2 legal entities we want to go for create based on the country. We can also go for multiple legal entities. We can also go for multiple legal entities here. After some time, if client says that I have started one more company, we want to go for configure that also. We can add, we can go for create a new legal entity, but not from this page. That is one of the important question in the interview. Once we configure the enterprise structure successfully and load this enterprise structure successfully, we cannot modify from this task. From this task, we cannot modify. Manually, we have to do it. Manually, for every organization, separate task is there. From there, we can do it. From there, we can go for perform it. Now I'm going to create 2 legal entities over here. Here we can give any details here. Client provided registration details and other. This is for US. Click next button. After the legal entity creation, nothing but company configuration, we'll ask our client, within this company, how many places you have opened outlets, nothing but a branches. In the branches, generally what we do, we'll sell the goods to customers. We'll collect the amount from customer. We'll also purchase the goods from suppliers and we'll make the payments to suppliers. And we'll be configuring, performing all the main business operations. That's what we business unit. So business unit is nothing but an organization where the client is doing main business operations like sales, procurement, payables, receivables, cash transactions, expenses. These all transactions wherever is happening, we'll call it as a business unit. Wherever client is going to manufacture the material, wherever client is going to assemble the materials, wherever client is going to store the materials, we call it as inventories. In our language, warehouses, storerooms, plants, this is all we call it. In Fusion applications, we call it as inventory organization. These 2 are outlets only, but depends on the operations which your client is performing. We call them as business unit or inventory organization. So all these organizations needs to be defined within the company. So when you are doing the business, you should follow the accounts. That's why ledger is going to be associated. When you are running the business, definitely you will have employees. For those employees, you will be paying the salaries. If you are going to pay the salaries, you are supposed to follow some standard structure, payroll. That's what legislation, LDC, top level. All this organization comes within the enterprise. That's how it will be established. But after inventory, we can leave. That's not our job. It's a supply chain management consultant will take care. Before LDC, it's taken by the payroll, human capital management. Ours will start with the ledger, legal entity, and business units. These three organizations. But still, we'll be looking out because we have to go with one by one. Up to inventory, we will be going. In fact, sub-inventory also. We'll go up to sub-inventory also. Okay. So now legal entity establishment has completed. Now within the legal entity, we are talking about business units. Now what system is telling, there are 3 legal entities in your company. Oh, sorry, 3 companies. Do you want to have for every legal entity 1 business unit? We want to go ahead. So then we can go for this options here. It is. So I'm going to have this for 1 legal entity, 1 BU. This. Can we add more than that? Yes. It will allow us to create multiple business units within the legal entity. It's very common. Very common. Within the company, having multiple branches is very common, right? So this is how we are going to have the business units. We are going to have business units. We can add new one. Maybe today, 1 company, 1 business unit is there. After 1 month or 2 months, we have multiple business units we are going to establish, we are going to add. So can we go for add later also? Yes. Always it will allow us to modify and add the business units successfully whenever we require. Okay. So we are going to have this business units here, creation. Here also we can create later also. We'll see that later how we can go for create business units manually. We'll be talking. Now click next button. After the business units, next one is reference data sets. We have configured business units. In every branch, there will be a department. And there will be employees who are working in every department, right? When employees are working, for every employee, we have to give some designation. You are working as a supervisor. You are working as a cashier. You are working as a accountant. You are working as a salesperson. You are working as office in charge. Like that, you are going to give some designation, nothing but a job. You are giving some grade. You are going to give some position for the employees. And you are going to allocate some department. You are working for so-and-so department. And you are going to allocate that your employee is working for so-and-so location. So all these details, instead of adding manually 1 by 1 to the business unit, what Oracle says, you can group all these objects. You can group all these objects. After grouping these objects, you can go for add this reference data set to the business unit. You can go for add this reference data set to the business unit. So what is reference data set? In the name itself, reference data set, nothing but referring some set of data. Referring some set of data. You are trying to refer some set of data. Set of data means group of records or group of objects. What are those objects? This I mentioned only few of things, but a lot of objects are there, like payment terms, customer sites, okay, dunning letters. Like that, there are a lot of objects we have that we are going to group it and assign this reference data set to the business unit. assign this reference data set to the business unit. That's what we are going to do it here. Okay. So whenever we are working with reference data set, Oracle has provided one reference data set called common. This is provided by Oracle. Of course, enterprise set also is given by Oracle, but we don't use enterprise set. We'll use common set. And we are going to create our own reference data set. What is the difference between common set and our custom reference data sets? Custom means new. So common set is provided by Oracle. It's very simple. If you keep your object in common set, your object is going to be assigned for all the business units. Your object is going to be assigned for all the business units. For example, client says that I have a 40 business units, nothing but 40 branches. In every branch, finance department is mandated. Finance department is there in every business unit. So then what we'll do? While creating finance department, we are going to select the reference data set as common. Instead of attaching the finance department for 40 business units, what we will do? While creating the finance department, we'll choose, while creating the finance department, we will choose common set so that your department will be assigned for all the business units. Your department will be assigned for all the business units. And client is telling there is a sales department, it's only for few business units, not for all. Then we cannot use common set. We cannot use common set. We have to go for, we cannot go for using the common. We have to go for new reference data set. We have to create a new reference data set. Here it is. Right. So that's how it will work.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
The reference data sets is equal to the cost center, which we call in SAP?
No, I don't have idea about that. But cost center is there, that is different here. While configuration of chart of accounting structure, generally we used to configure department as cost center to calculate the cost, right? In accounting we'll be using cost center, but I don't have idea. This is just to refer the objects to business units.
Okay.
I don't have idea about this SAP configuration options. Now, reference data set is created. After creating the reference data sets, we have to assign this reference data sets to the business unit. So whenever we create a department or jobs or grades or locations, payment terms, customer sites, dunning letters, this all objects, actually we have to assign to the business unit, but directly we cannot assign. We have to assign to reference data set first, assign a reference data set to the business unit. So we have to take this object here. Assign to reference data set. Then assign this reference data set to the business unit. Assign reference data set to the business unit. Now we created reference data sets. Click next button. We are assigning the reference data sets. We can find here BU names, and here we can find reference data sets. We are assigning one reference data set means indirectly we are trying to assign some departments, some payment terms, customer sites, like objects. So whatever the objects are there in this reference data set, that will be assigned for our business unit. Depends on the requirement, we can assign, we can change later. This is just a default reference data set. excuse me, I'm sorry, default reference data set. Later we can change according to our requirement. This is default reference data set we are going to have. Later we can change according to our requirement. You can also assign the reference data set to the locations, but it will not be used much over here. We are not going to use this much over here. We'll just go ahead with it. Click next button. So we have configured entire enterprise structure successfully here. This is our enterprise name. And within that, these are divisions we have defined. Within that, these are the organizations we have defined, legal entities. Within that, these are business units are defined. Within that, these are reference data sets. Here we have. So these are the enterprise result, whatever we have configured. Same information, here it is showing in text format. We can find in the graphical. So just a diagram. Now this is our ultimate holding company. Within that we'll find the divisions. Within the divisions we'll find legal entities. Sometimes without divisions also we can have the legal entities here. We can go for it. Click save and close. We have configured the enterprise structure. Where is our enterprise structure? Here. This is our enterprise structure. But if we look at the status of this enterprise structure is not loaded. I want to go for load it, but it is disabled. See, it's a disabled. Enterprise structure is disabled here. Why it is disabled? Why it is disabled? Because it's already loaded. This enterprise structure is already loaded. That's the reason it is not going to allow us to go for another enterprise structure. Okay, if it is first time when you are trying to load, then you can go for click this button. So what it will do when it is trying to load the enterprise structure here, we can find whenever we say load enterprise configuration, here we can find these options. Enable, and it's going for uploading all the organizations into the base tables. Uploading all the organizations into our base tables over here it is. Okay, so this is about the enterprise structure configuration setup by using ESC. ESC is nothing but enterprise structure configurator tool or wizard, which is used to go for configure enterprise structure automatically. It's a wizard based. Automatically we'll be able to configure it. But when we are working in the real time, generally we don't follow this. We'll go for manually. That we'll be discussing in our next class.
Sir, I didn't understand the not loaded and loaded. Can you repeat again? Because why it is not loaded? Sure.
Only one enterprise structure is allowed for data loading. Whenever we are working with Fusion applications, we can configure only one enterprise structure because one company only, right? Okay. One enterprise structure is allowed. We cannot go for multiple enterprise structures. Already one enterprise structure is loaded. Obviously, it won't allow the another enterprise structure.
Okay.
Now, whatever we have created, it's going to be the draft. It's going to be draft enterprise structure. We are going to have this option.
Hello.
Yes, please.
So I want to change, means switch the enterprise name. Like first is IMPL. Okay. I want to, now is current is Tata Corporation. So it is possible to switch.
Yes, yes. No, switching is nothing but what do you want? You want to change the name of the enterprise?
No, not enterprise, because first is
Not
loaded.
possible.
Okay, status is loaded, but now
Not
it's
possible. Not possible.
not possible.
Because see, this is very high level setup. You established one company. You established 5 companies. Okay.
Okay.
Manually. Will you switch the companies?
No switch company.
Tell you what we'll do. We'll open branches. We'll close the branches.
Yes.
That is not
Not
more than that. We'll open the companies and will we close the companies? No, right?
no.
So
Yes.
branches can be opened and closed. Means the business units can be business units, departments. This can be done. This can be done, but not
And,
this.
and last time, sir, in real time scenarios, we can, means we create the enterprise structure. Okay.
Yes,
In
we will be
real instance, development or instance, in company instance. Okay.
we will, whenever we are working in the real time also, we'll find the same, but there will be only one enterprise structure. We'll be working with that. We are going to load it.
So,
And
it
we
is
are
allowed.
working, go
It is
ahead.
allowed permission to multiple price, but only one status will be loaded.
Yes, enterprise will be only one. Within that, you can have multiple objects. You can create multiple divisions, multiple legal entities, multiple business units. All these objects are allowed, but enterprise is only one. It means enterprise structure is only one, not more than that.
Can we change the name, sir? Enterprise name,
Yes,
division
yes.
name.
We can change. For example, MPL is there, right? Here we cannot change. Once the enterprise structure is successfully loaded, see, it is disabled. We will not be able to modify. Let's go to the task. Manage enterprise. Can go for edit, update, correction, can do it. Already someone has changed. Solvo. If I see the history, I'll come to. So initially they given as MPL. Now it is, they have changed. History of the record we can find. Here it is. Okay. So this is how enterprise name can be changed. In case if I want to correct the enterprise, we can go for correction.
What about legal entity, sir? Can we change?
Yeah, that also we can do it. All the organizations can be modified like this. Now, if I go for manage legal entity, whatever the legal entity you have, select, you want to customize, you can go for disable also. Choose the legal entity and go for make the changes. Manage department, manage divisions, manage business unit. That's the task names which we'll be using. See, you can put the start date, end date. These all are allowed. If you want to make some changes, you want to change the address, it can be done all this. Okay.
Sir, what is the task name for ESC, Enterprise Structure?
Establish. Establish enterprise structures.
Sir, do you provide practicing link, sir, Oracle link?
Yes, that's what I said, right? We'll be providing the 6 months. Minimum 6 months and maximum 8 months will provide server access.
Okay.
Okay, fine guys, let's see you tomorrow in the different meeting ID, regular classes, same time.
Sir, one last
Sir,
question.
sir,
Will we get the study material
Yes,
definitely?
we will be providing you.
Sir, another question, sir. Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, two of my friends have been completed that Fusion Financial training, sir. They will approach for that placements.
You can contact this number, right? As I said,
Okay, sir.
they will
sir,
decide.
That's 888, sir. Correct, sir?
You can, anytime you can contact.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. They are interested in that placement programs.
You talk with them. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Yes, guys, any other doubts?
No. So tomorrow you'll be providing a separate another link, right?
Yeah, that is for enrollments. As I said, the batch enrollments will be done. They'll create a WhatsApp group and give the new link, and there the classes will be started. You can talk with them. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time, which you have spent 3 days for our demo sessions. We'll connect tomorrow in the different meeting area. Thank you.